It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. And now here's your host, Geno Jones.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? Showtime, showtime. I am live. You can see this big ass sign, big old sign behind me. Even Stevie Wonder can see this sign. Yes, that's me. I'm him. The Geno Jones Show. Monday through Friday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 Central Time, 4:30 p.m. on the West Coast. All right, everybody, I need you to do something for me right now. All right? If you haven't done it, subscribe, like, and share. Like, click on the thumbs up button for a brother. Hook me up like bootleg cable. Hook it up right now. Click on that thumbs up button. Like, share. Click the share button after the show. Like, share it on any platform or any page you want. Just show it, share it everywhere. Wherever it can go, share it. How about that? Just no limits. Mary J had a song, Love No Limit. Love has no limits when it comes to sharing this show. So make sure that you like it, click that thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe. And please leave your comments in the comment section below. But everybody watching me right now, the show is interactive. What does that mean? That means that you can get active and be a part of the show. If you got a comment, a question, I got a guest coming up, and she is amazing. She's been on the show before. So you see where it says live chat. I'm just clicking the little button right there. Yes. You see live chat, that chat room. So if you can see it, it could be your television, your phone, your tablet. It's all good. Jump in there, and I'd love to hear from you. I'm sure my guests would too. Today is August 18th. Happy heavenly birthday to Malcolm Jamal Warner, Theo Huxtable from The Cosby Show, one of my favorite shows of all time. And he was in a show, Malcolm and Eddie, with Eddie Griffin, and then he was in this TV show, The Resident, just really talented brother. He's a poet and actor and author. He was just a Renaissance guy, just really, really good brother. And he died tragically on vacation with his family in Costa Rica. I think it was a year ago. I think it was last year. So happy heavenly birthday to my man Malcolm Jamal Warner. And prayers go out to his family. I think, the last news I saw, the last information I saw, apparently there was some type of settlement. So the short version of the story is Malcolm Jamal Warner's widow, says that, well, her husband owes some money. He was supposed to set up some insurance policy and pay her for being his chief of staff or somebody like that. However, and so she's suing his estate. Now, so his mom's name is Pamela. So Malcolm Jamal Warner set up a trust for his mother, his sister, and his father. But he apparently made separate financial arrangements for his wife and his daughter. Now, look, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know. I haven't even seen any legal documents. But when I heard that, I'm like, okay, wait a minute. So he set up a trust for his mother, his father, and his sister. But he didn't set up a trust for his wife, who is a widow, or his daughter. Now, I don't know how old his daughter is. So did he set up that trust when he was on the Cosby Show? Because, he was a teenager. So it just made me think that he must have set up, just speculation, but it just, for me, I don't know about you, but for me, that kind of makes sense. That because on his face, it sounds kind of odd that he would set up a trust, because with trust in most places, most states, and I've talked to lawyers, I've done some research, that a trust doesn't have to go through a probate, which means you don't have to go through courts and the whole deal. The trust is set up to where if something happens, whoever the trustees are, you get the money, you get the I guess the estate or whatever's left to you in the trust. So just lifting everybody up in prayer. Everybody's grieving. I can't even imagine burying a child, being a parent myself. Our children aren't supposed to bury us, so I know his mom, Pamela, is grieving, but I could imagine that his widow is grieving. He's got a daughter, other family members. I don't know if his dad is still living or not. He's got a sister. So I just lift everybody up in prayer, and happy heavenly birthday to good dude. Man, I was a big fan of my man Theo Huxtable. Just cool. He was cool in his own kind of way. You know, he wasn't phony. He wasn't trying to be anybody else. He was just Theo. He was just, he was just Theo. So big shout out to Malcolm Jamal Warner, my guy. Rest in power, brother. He is one of the ancestors. All right, 62 days until Election Day. Now, what does that mean? Here in South Carolina, 62 days until Election Day. 62 days from today is October 19th. October 19th is the first day of early voting. Now, I don't know about your state, 77 days until what they call Election Day, November 3rd. But if you wait until November 3rd, oh, you are going to be up Schitt's Creek, because there's all kind of chicanery. As a matter of fact, I heard today that the Orange Hitler regime is going to send out over 1,000 poll monitors, voting monitors at polling places. To what? To try to intimidate people from voting? Really? I shouldn't say anything, because I really want them to do this, to keep going. Go ahead. But I'll just say it. I'm going to say the quiet part out loud. What y'all going to mess around, you're going to F around and do, you're going to piss especially black voters off even more. See, we had something like that happened in South Carolina, but it was a little different. They weren't sending like over 1,000 poll monitors, but they were talking about trying to redraw, it's called redraw the congressional districts number 6. Our congressman, James, who's my congressman, James Clyburn, an icon, a legend, civil rights and political icon here in South Carolina. And then we had an incident with a woman who was Pamela Yvette, who was running for governor, who basically called a graduating class at one of our prestigious HBCUs, South Carolina State University, Go Bulldogs. She really disparaged the graduating class, called them a woke mob. You call these kids a mob? Really? So they really pissed off black folks. And there was some black folks that probably would have just took a pass and said, hey, wait, what? Y'all called them babies what? They represent our best and brightest up at South Carolina State University, along with all of our HBCUs. Really? You a mob? You call them kids that's doing everything the right way? Brilliant students. It was one sister. As a matter of fact, she was one of the graduating speakers because she was so powerful. And basically her speech went viral. They were talking to the president, who's an African-American man. So look, I don't know what check you took. I don't know what promises was made, but them young people said, this woman she don't represent us. Her values, calling us a woke mob and saying she was DEI was like a scam or a crime. That doesn't represent our values and morals. So they was like, no, she can go speak anywhere she wants to. But what she's not going to do, she is not going to speak to us because she has nothing to say to us because she has nothing in common with us. And Miss Pamela Yvette, not only did she not win the Republican nomination for governor, she did not go to South Carolina State and speak to those young people, that graduating class of 2026. So, and they really inspired a lot of people. Those young people, those young brothers and sisters inspired a lot of people, and a lot of people really got pissed off about how they were just really denigrated and how they were just talked about, dehumanized, totally disrespected. We're disrespecting our babies. So now, we're not having that. 62 days until Election Day here. Now, I was going to, because yesterday I talked a little bit about Stephen A. Smith. It's been a lot in the news. Let me just say this, because apparently he's got a channel on YouTube. He has a channel on YouTube. Then he went on MAGA TV 1, which is what they call Fox News or Fox no News, Fox this ain't news, Fox fake news. That's probably why he came up with the term, because Fox News is fake, Fox fake news. MAGA 1, MAGA TV 1, Trump TV. He got all kind of names, and now you got all these bootleg copycats. But Stephen A. Smith was upset because the National Association of Black Journalists, they have award ceremony, and they've been giving out this award for years, I found out. A thumbs down award. Basically, it's an award where, we're giving you a thumbs down. You need to improve. You need to course correct. You need to check yourself before you wreck yourself. And one of the people, along with the chairman of the FCC, Brendan Carr, and the Washington Post, which is owned by Jeff Bezos, MAGA billionaire, and CBS, which is owned by MAGA billionaire son David Ellison, which has ruined CBS News completely. Another bootleg version of wannabe Fox fake news. And Stephen A. Smith, because he has been on record, I'm paraphrasing their quote, a recurring pattern of disparaging and disrespecting black women in politics, the media, and sports, or politics, sports, and the media. So basically, he went on Sean Hannity, just, woe is me, and, they did me wrong, and I had a mother, and I got 4 sisters, and I got nieces. There are a lot of there are a lot of people that engage in anti-blackness and anti-black misogynoir, that have got sisters and nieces and mothers and grandmothers and aunts and girlfriends and wives, if you want to have that conversation. But people got smoke for you, Stephen A. Smith, because your orange lord and master, Orange Hitler himself, called you low IQ, dumb as a rock, and an arrogant fool. Now, Orange Hitler, of all people, would know an arrogant fool when he sees one, especially when he looks in the mirror. So he say it takes one to know one. So he maybe he got that right. But when your orange lord and master, when Orange Hitler said all those things, not a peep out of you, not a peep. But when it comes to, and black women, but not just black women, folks like LeBron James and Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, and I could go on and on and on. You guys smoke, heat, straight shooter. But when a dude called you low IQ, dumb as a rock, and the brother's not dumb, but see, he called and an arrogant fool, and you just tuck your tail and, ooh, okay. So that's why you get in the smoke, Stephen A. That's why. And I don't like to do this because I have not talked about Stephen A. Smith. I did accuse him along with a whole bunch of other folks, 2024 folks from 50 Cent and all the Snoop, who's my dude, that went, all the ones that went to all those inaugural balls and performed. I said, okay, you chose the check over the culture. So we're going to call you out. You got a right to choose the check, but we have a right to call you out and criticize you for choosing a check over the culture? Really? A check from people who are your enemy and the enemy of your people, people who want your death, destruction, and demise. And you took a check to entertain them? Do you think they like you even anymore? No. They despise you, but they want to be entertained after a few drinks or whatever. All right, I digress. I wanted to go ahead and kind of tie a bow on that, put a knot in it for now. I'm sure we're going to come back. Not to mention Stephen A. Smith, I got to get this in, said that he was tricked into voting for Kamala Harris. Come on, dude. Who tricked you into voting for Kamala Harris? And how the hell did anybody trick you into voting for anybody, Stephen A. Smith? Yeah, maybe your orange lord and master had a point. Low IQ, dumb as a rock, and an arrogant fool. I'm not calling you dumb, but dude, for you to say that you were tricked into voting for Kamala Harris, listen, that's you saying that about yourself. You saying more about yourself than me or anybody else could say about you. So let me move on. I'm so excited. So election day, once again, election day here in South Carolina is October 19th. And we have an incredible slate of just beyond qualified, like overly qualified, brilliant, beautiful, talented African Americans that's running for a slate of offices up and down the ballot, from Jermaine Johnson, Dr. Jermaine Johnson, who's going to be a guest on this show Wednesday tomorrow for everybody watching me live. We had Tiffany Boozer, we had Vincent Coe, Jason Belton, Deshaun, my brother Deshaun Blanding, so many talented people. And there's somebody who has been a guest on the show. She hadn't been on a while because this sister is putting in work. She ain't putting in work, W-O-R-K. She's putting in work, W-E-R-K. That's real. That's working. One thing the W-O-R-K, but when you working, W-E-R-K, that means you was 10 toes. That's work times 10. Yes, she's a brilliant sister. She is running. As a matter of fact, you know what we do on this show? My grandmother, Jean Jones, said, Jeannie, name it and claim it. Speak it into existence. So we are speaking into existence, and I'm proud, I am honored to introduce to you the next South Carolina Superintendent of Education. There she is, ladies and gentlemen, Sylvia Wright. Welcome back, my sister. I am so happy to have you back on the show. Yes.
Well, thank you for allowing me to come back to the show.
Sylvia, stop. Allowing, come on. The last time, see, come on now. Now I'm gonna get you now. The last time you were on the show, now I'm gonna give you grace because I know you had been, like I said, working, W-E-R-K.
Yes.
So, but the last time you were on the show, I told you had a permanent place on this. I said you have a permanent home on this platform. So
I should say it's an honor. I didn't mean allowing like you didn't allow me.
I know. I'm just messing with you.
Okay.
I'm just messing with you.
It is an honor to be on your show, Geno.
Well, it's an honor to have you on my show.
You were one of the first people to actually interview me. There were a lot of people who did not, think I could win. They pushed me to the side. But you are one of the people who actually believed in me from the beginning. So thank you for that, Geno.
Well, listen, it was just a reflection on who you are and everything you bring to the table and what you have to offer. So it was easy. I mean, like I said, Stevie Wonder could see this. He could see the brilliance. So folks that didn't get it or couldn't see it, that's their problem. But they seeing it now. Yeah, y'all seeing it now. So, so give us and for those who may not have seen you the last time you were on, give us your origin story and then everything that kind of led up to this moment and how things have been going. I talked about how busy you've been working with the campaign, but give us an update. But start, if you don't mind, Sylvia, with your origin story.
Yes, sir. So I'm born and raised in North Charleston, South Carolina, proud North Charlestonian.
That's right. Come on,
my
now.
dad was in
294 something. I don't know what the last two, but it's
29418.
Come on. All right.
Proud graduate of Fort Dorchester High School.
Yes.
But my dad was in the Air Force, stationed at Charleston Air Force Base. My mom worked for Bell South. So we grew up, in that area. So public school, born and raised in public education, proud graduate, like I said. I majored in middle grades education. Once I realized that I wasn't meeting the needs of all the kids in my class, I went back to school, received a master's in divergent learning from Columbia College. I've been in education over 20 years, worked on every single level. As I was moving up in leadership, I realized there was a leadership problem, so I went back to school, I went to the Citadel, received my master's in education of educational leadership. I continued at the Citadel, received my specialist in education, which prepared me to be a superintendent. I'm currently working on my doctor of education at the University of South Carolina in systems improvement and innovation, because that's what I want to bring to the system here. Public education means so much to me. I have 2 kids who went through the public education system. My son, Perry, he's in the Air Force right now. He's a drill sergeant or a military instructor in Texas. I'm proud of him.
Wow.
Yeah, my daughter's studying to be a nurse. Proud of her. She has a son, so I have a grandson who's 3 right now. He's about to be 4, and he's going to enter into public education soon. And so what I want for him, I want for all kids in South Carolina. So that's my motivation, my passion for truly elevating education here in South Carolina.
And that thing that you want for your grandson and everyone else's grandsons and granddaughters and sons and daughters and nieces and nephews is what exactly? What does that look like from a policy standpoint?
That everybody has a fair shot to do what they want to do and be what they want to be. We are no longer going to put kids in a box like you have to go here, or I don't think college is good for you. Like, people are literally telling the students what they are capable of. But it's time for us to listen to the students and let them tell us what they want to do, and we meet that need. We provide those pathways to help these our students do what they want to do, be what they want to be, and also growing them. Right now, we're focused on this testing culture. The current superintendent is talking about this SC surge, and everything's based on the SC ready, this standardized testing. But it's not truly growing kids because, yeah, these scores might be higher, but do you know we have 12th graders who are reading on a third grade level? We have 12th graders who can't read at all because the focus is on testing and not growing. So that's the system. That's the educational system that I look forward to. A system where we're united, because that's another thing. We're operating in silos right now. So uniting our community with our schools, our teachers, our students, our educators, just everyone uniting to help with this elevation. And then we focus on growing our students.
You know, you talked about testing and test scores, Sylvia, and now I've been here 21 years now. And I remember when I first got here in 2005, one of the things I learned that like the test scores and the reading scores in South Carolina were low, anywhere like in the 40s or maybe like the bottom third. Here we are 2 decades later, and those numbers look the same. If I'm accurate, you can correct me if I'm wrong. So if nothing else, it seems like whatever we've been doing for 2 decades, it hadn't been working. It's obvious, and the definition of insanity is to continue to do the same thing that's not working, uh, and keep doing it.
Right. One of the biggest issues, though, when we're looking at these test scores, because you can see like they've advertised this increase, but if you really dig into the data, there are certain groups who have not grown, certain
Yes.
populations that have not grown. So the data that people are seeing is like a lump sum of data. I shouldn't say some, but a lump representation of the data. It's not truly accurate to really getting down to growing our students and the real problem that we have in education here in South Carolina. Not everybody's growing. So to advertise it as if, we have the Southern surge and that all students are moving forward, it's false. It's manipulation. And we need to be real about what's truly happening in South Carolina, especially as this current superintendent supports defunding public education. Because as she's defunding public education, whatever gains that she is advertising, it's not going to be for long if we don't have the programs, or, you know, just if we're not supporting, if we take away resources that are, supporting this surge, it's just a false narrative.
Yeah.
And so we need leaders who are going to be serious about the problems we have here in education and fully fund education. And when I say fully fund, I don't mean just throwing money at it. I mean truly talking to the people on the ground, seeing what what they need, what resources do they need, what supports do they need, and providing those. Because we can't cookie cut this. South Carolina is so diverse. The needs here in North Charleston are different from the needs in Greenville and Spartanburg and Abbeville, Gaffney. The needs are different. So we need to have conversations and truly start um, providing those resources and then monitoring it, progress monitoring. There's a lack of oversight. We need to see what's working, what's not working. And if it's working, great. How do we sustain it? If it's not working, how do we tweak that, change it up, or do we get rid of it? But these are all conversations we need to have to truly start elevating education. The focus shouldn't be on a test score.
And education is like so many institutions and systems in America. You've got this built-in bias, inherent bias, that's gone on for decades, that hasn't been addressed. which speaks to the inequity that you see. So how do you, as a superintendent, uh, if not, I guess, eliminate to somehow to try to mitigate the bias that's built into this system? Because it's not even a person, more so than you've got bias in the education system, just like you do in, I mean, law, medicine. We could go on and on, in business, finance, basically every system in America. You've got this bias that's been built in for decades.
Right. So for me, it's all about equity. Looking at this system through the lens of equity, not equal, but equitably. Because what that means is, like I was saying earlier, we need to start having conversations, find out what the needs are in every community, in every county, in every district, and then providing those resources to help elevate those students in these areas, especially our rural areas. Our rural areas have been neglected for so long.
Yes.
And we've been talking about this corridor of shame for a long time. And I know it's sort of fallen off the radar and kind of been swept under the rug. The current superintendent, I think her solution, if I read the article correctly, is to implement charter schools. But charter schools aren't the solution to elevating education in our rural areas, because only a select few students get to go to these charter schools. So what about the students who don't get into charter schools? What happens to them? So public education is the true key. Elevating public education, fully funding it, finding out what the resources are so we can elevate it and provide the support that our students need, no matter their zip code, and not by segregating them in a private school or a charter school. How can we help all children? Because that's the goal of public education, is to help all kids rise. It doesn't,
Yes.
create this divide like we're seeing right now with this, the vouchers.
Thank you. It's funny you mentioned it. Great minds think alike. I was going to segue and say I've heard people talk about taking public school money, taking that away from public schools and giving it to people to use as for vouchers to go to private schools. It's just that's to me. This is just me talking, Sylvia. That's criminal to me. That makes
Yes.
sense.
Yeah.
No, why would you? It's like are you intentionally trying to dismantle and destroy public education? And why? What happens if public education is destroyed? How's that going to benefit the economy? How's that going to benefit the workforce? You can't AI all these damn jobs. You got to have an educated society. Okay, that's just me. So, but please speak to that, because that just really, every time I hear that, I'm like, okay, really? Is this what we really trying to do?
Right. The one thing I like to start out with when we talk about vouchers is the fact that it's unconstitutional. It's having this voucher program goes against our state constitution. And in 2024, they tried to push the vouchers and it was, challenged, or before 2024, it was ruled unconstitutional in 2024. So the current people in power manipulated the language and they passed Voucher Bill 2.0, right? But no one's challenged it yet. And I'm so glad in a way that it wasn't challenged, because now we were able to see the fraud, waste, and abuse of a voucher program. If you look at the data, right, or the news articles that have come out. Well, let me back up. Do you know how many students are in South Carolina?
How many?
Almost 800,000.
Wow.
Okay.
Almost a million.
And do you know how many students are qualified for a voucher?
Probably less than 10%?
Yep. 10,000. 10,000 students get selected because they have to be selected. So not everyone gets a voucher.
So 10,000 out of, did you say 900?
800, almost 800,000 students.
800,000.
Only 10,000
Wow.
that are selected by the State Department get a voucher. Okay.
Wow.
Now, mind you, I told you 10,000. Almost, or not almost, 5,200 and I think 84 students who received the voucher last year were already in private school.
What?
Yep. And almost an additional 1,000 students who received a voucher were homeschooled. But the superintendent currently calls them unbundlers to try to manipulating the law. And people can look this up. Like even her own party, the people in her party do not trust her. because of this manipulation and misrepresentation of the law. It's articles about it. So I'm not saying anything out of line here. People can look it up for themselves.
Wow.
The integrity, I'm just ready to restore the integrity and professionalism to this office. Because, she was never a teacher. And the current superintendent was never a teacher. She never worked in the school system.
Wow. And
And she got a master's in 6 months from Bob Jones University.
Sylvia, one of the interesting things that I learned when I came to South Carolina was that the origins of public school, kind of as we know now, it's evolved, but the whole concept of public schools was created in South Carolina by our ancestors.
That is correct. In 1868. You are 100% correct. And I'm so glad you said that, because the reason why it was created is because you had a system, not even a system, you had it where people who had the means to get private tutors, their children were being educated. But it left the large majority of the students in South Carolina, and not just Black students, rural, poor, anyone who could not afford a private tutor, they were left in the dark when it came to education. So there was a divide, right? And so in 1868, that's why part of this education, this position, the state superintendent of education position, was created. And that's why public education was elevated. South Carolina was one of the first to truly elevate public education. And so now what we have someone in power, or someone who's our current state superintendent of education, who's trying to push it back to that divide. And again, you can look that up. The fact that over half of the students who received a voucher were in private school already. And then those unbundlers, you know what they can do with that money? They can hire private tutors. They can pay for them with that voucher money. And so she is creating that divide that the whole purpose for public education was trying to, lessen or take away. Wow. To provide all kids with an education, a quality education. So that's why it's very important that we turn the tide in November.
So Sylvia, right on day one, give us what are your priorities for day one and your top 3 priorities. Say that you always hear what's your plans for day one? What's your plans for your first 90 days, 100 days? So what are we looking at?
Thank you for that question. As I've been traveling around the 46 counties, speaking to everyone, local electeds, superintendents, teachers, family members, students, community leaders, there is a healing that needs to take place in our communities.
My God.
Along with that relationship between our communities, our families, and our schools. So that's going to be my number one priority. It's not going to be the only thing I focus on, but it's going to be the foundation that I need to create. Because, like I said, there's a healing, and there's a lot of distrust in education right now. So that's what I plan to do. I'm in communities right now, holding town halls, building relationships with the people in the community. So I want to get back into these communities after I win and start seriously having those conversations and building that trust and relationships. Because on top of that is how we're going to build and start truly elevating education, building, having these connections, the school, the families, and our communities, how we can all work together. So that's where I'm going to start. And also just exciting our teachers, elevating our teachers. I cannot wait to have teacher rallies for our teachers, for our support staff, because again, there's no small job in education. Everybody that touches a student, like our bus driver, we need them to take the kids to and from school, cafeteria workers, custodians, our counselors, everybody plays a part. So I can't wait to have a rally for all of us to truly ignite us, set the mission and the vision, so that way we are all moving in the same direction, and let people know that there's someone in power who truly cares, who truly knows how it feels to be in the trenches. Because I know, I call myself like the teacher's teacher, and so I can't wait to get in the position to truly represent education, because right now we have someone in place who does not represent public education, does not represent all the people. And so I can't wait to represent everyone, to help everyone to rise. But again, that's in the beginning. My three things that I plan to focus on immediately, and again, this is an instant, but and there's a lot of work to be done too. I want to preface that because whenever I list these things, people are like, well, what about this? What about that? I know there's a lot of work. I know. But the three things are number one is early childhood education, because that's our foundation.
Yes.
39, only 39% of students demonstrated kindergarten readiness last year. And that's because, they have the free 4K, but not everybody qualifies for that. So then people have to pay for private preschool and they can't afford that. And so that's why we have this big gap. And so I want to uh, implement universal pre-K for our 4-year-olds. Like no matter your zip code,
I
no
love
matter
that.
your income,
Yes, I love it.
remove that barrier, give everyone a fair shot. Let's start recognizing um, or identifying if students have disabilities, if they can't see, if they can't hear, having those tests. That way we catch that early and students can start, learning how to learning those strategies so they can be successful. So that we're not finding out in 6th grade that they had a disability, that has hindered their learning this whole time. So early childhood education is a focus for me. Second is school safety. And when I say school safety, it's not just, intruders. We need to, bullying is a big issue.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Yes.
mental health for our students, uh, overcrowded classrooms, buildings with mold, buildings that when it rains, the students have to be rerouted and disrupting learning. Like all of these things are school safety issues. And so I want to convene a school safety advisory council. They do an audit of school safety. And then from those results, we start creating policies that truly protect our students and the people in our buildings, not only from outside forces, but things that are affecting us on the inside. And then teacher recruitment and retention. And again, just changing that narrative for education. That's one thing I'm excited about doing. Um, Raising the pay,
I was that was
$60,000.
you read my
Yep.
mind because I was good. I knew already, but I just wanted
Yeah.
to ask because I've said all my life that teachers are probably the most underpaid. I've always said teachers should get a check like LeBron and Steph Curry.
Mm, yep.
Yes.
So 60,000 is the start. And I want bumps for everyone. Because that's what I've had teachers come up to me and say, well, how's a new teacher making just as much or possibly more than someone who's a veteran teacher? So just making that scale equitable, right?
Yes.
Um, and also our support staff. I will not forget about them. I worked with one of the teachers' aides that I worked with called me the other day. She's like, Sylvia, don't you forget about us. I said, she was like, don't you forget about us. We be doing all the work. And I said, yeah. I said, I know they work just as hard. So they do deserve more. Our bus drivers need more pay.
Yes. Woo.
So just looking at that and really, like I said, taking care of everyone who supports and plays a part with our children in these buildings. And then retaining them because again, we can pay teachers we can pay them like LeBron, right? But there comes a point where if you're constantly being mistreated, right? If it starts affecting your mental health, like some teachers, it's starting to affect their physical body, like they get sick because of what they have to deal with at school. Like that's not fair. It should not be that way. So um, improving working conditions for our teachers. And again, it is different in every area. So just having those conversations, finding out what the needs are, and just truly supporting our teachers, providing incentives also, if it's housing that they need in the area or if it's childcare, providing incentives to attract them to, especially our rural areas. Because what attracts a teacher to work in Greenville is different from what attracts them to teach in like Gaffney,
Yeah.
So
I am
those are my three things that I plan to truly focus on immediately once I get into office.
I am so excited. I'm so ex- I'm so excited for you.
Thank you.
But even though I don't have my baby girl is she graduated from college 2 years ago. She went to high school. She did middle school and high school actually. So she went to uh, like elementary school, Bell Hall, And then she went middle school and high school. She went to Charleston County School of the Arts. So she went to public schools. Actually, both of my daughters went to public school. My oldest daughter, I was working in another city, so she went to a public school. We started off in Detroit, then I got a job. I went from Detroit to Memphis doing radio, and so she went to public schools there. But what I'm most excited about, especially when I get to talk to you, or even though I kind of saw you from a distance, I heard your name being shouted out Saturday night at this gala. I'm excited. I'm excited for the kids, for students, and by extension, I'm excited for the parents and grandparents and family. But I'm excited for our students. Education is a passion of mine. I've supported education with a segment on my radio show. Many know Geno's Academic All-Stars, where I spotlight our young people just for academic excellence. But I'm excited for our young people, Sylvia, because of beyond your resume, which is impeccable, which is peerless. I don't know if anybody's that's even ever served in this position that's got the resume that you have. But beyond the resume, the most impressive thing is your compassion, your empathy, your decency, your humanity, your sense of community. To me, that's the key. I mean, you could have people with comparable resumes. I've seen a lot, but you could probably get people with comparable resumes. But when you combine your resume with the compassion, empathy, decency, and humanity and sense of community, then there's no more comparison here. It's just,
I know. I'm so excited. Yes.
And it's just,
this is a calling, I'm just going to be honest. This is a calling. Running for this position was not on my bingo card. Honestly, I had my head in the sand. I was sitting at my home office looking up private preschools for my grandson because my daughter falls into that category. She won't qualify for pre-K, the free pre-K. So I was in a position where I could, pay for my grandson to go to private preschool. But I got convicted, That conviction was so deep.
I love that
I sat back in my chair. And the thought of what about the other kids came to my mind. And I was like, well, okay, Lord, what would you have me to do? Because I felt this conviction. And then the next thought was state superintendent of education. I'm like, So I was like, okay, I looked it up and I was like, oh, I have the experience. Cause like I said, I've worked on every single level. So, talk to my friends, family. And of course, when the Lord calls you, it's like the level that I'm at now with my relationship with the Lord. I mean, I didn't question it. I just did it. And so, I really feel like, I don't feel in my mind, what came to mind was I'm an answer to prayer. I am the answer to prayer. And I say that because I don't take this lightly. This position is not about a title for me. I was given a mission and a vision for really improving.
It's an assignment, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
It's an assignment.
Yeah. Yep.
And
I don't take it lightly.
You're being obedient to the assignment.
That is correct. And everything's falling in line, I'll tell you this really quickly. When I first started running, right, when I accepted the call, someone contacted me and was like, you need to talk to such and such, right? So I didn't know anybody, right? So I started trying to hit them up on Twitter and Facebook, like starting to friend people, trying to get them to, contact. I was trying to contact them. Do you know, when I started going to events, those people I was trying to reach out to, they were in the room. That's how I started meeting people. So God already has things aligned. I'm just walking in it. And it's blowing my mind how he's putting people in line and things in place.
Because you have been chosen as the vessel to be the blessing to these nearly 1 million students here in South Carolina.
That's right.
And
I don't take it lightly.
Right. And it's an honor to be a vessel. And when you know that you are being used as a vessel, when things are placed on my heart, like just to share that with you, it was placed on my heart. And so what you heard me say when I was talking about beyond the resume, the compassion, empathy, decency, humanity, and sense of community. Even though you heard my voice, you heard Geno's voice, but actually you didn't hear I use my voice and
Mm,
my body is just a vessel that the Spirit put that on my heart to share with you.
mm,
That
thank
you
you.
are, yes, it is, yeah. You
Mm,
he's you've been chosen as a vessel because you've got the Spirit,
mm,
the like I said, the sense of humanity and caring and compassion and empathy and decency and spirit of giving grace. And
yes.
unfortunately, we are living in times where that is not the case, especially with people in power. That's the
Yeah.
exact opposite.
Yeah.
So it is, yes, it
And
is.
I'm glad you said that because everyone on the slate with me, what we call the legacy slate, Tiffany Boozer,
Mhm.
comptroller, Vincent Coe as our treasurer, Jason Belton, secretary of state. You have Jermaine, governor, Richard Rissick for our attorney general, um, and Deshaun Blanding for agriculture, the commissioner of agriculture. Like, I've had the opportunity to listen to each one of them speak, and every one of them has the same heart, the
Mhm.
same compassion and empathy, and they are ready to restore the power to the people. For all of them, for all of us, it's about service, restoring service to these positions. Because right now we have people in position, it's not about the people,
They're
it's
serving
about
them.
them.
They're serving themselves.
Yes, it's all about them. And again, people can look these things up. Actions speak louder than
Yes,
words.
yes, it does.
Hmm.
Sylvia, you're right. I
Yes,
am,
sir.
man. I've taken up more time than I probably should have. I'm so glad we've been trying to connect, and
Yeah.
I got the same energy, and I my I say like spirits connect, and so I connected with your spirit the first time, and this is just the affirmation. So, like I said, I'm speaking it into existence. You,
Yes,
the next
yes,
superintendent of education. However, the sister needs volunteers. She needs
yes,
door knockers, canvassers, and she needs dollars. Campaigns need
yes.
dollars, y'all. So please let everybody know how they can support your campaign with dollars. Your payday was Friday for some of y'all. Some folks are getting paid, this week, tomorrow, Thursday, Friday. So campaigns need cash, but they need
That's right.
bodies, volunteers, and everything else. So listen, you've seen this woman, you've seen, you felt the same spirit and compassion and energy and sense of service
Hmm.
is clear.
Hmm.
So now she needs your sense of service, be it with your dollars, with your time, with your feet, with your hands, door knocking and walking. So let everybody know how they can support the campaign in every way.
Perfect. Now, and before I say that, there's a young man who reached out to me. He goes to Winthrop. He's in the education department. And with all the Trump cuts,
Yes.
students are arriving at school. I don't know if people know this. They're arriving to college for the financial aid department to tell them they owe like $2,000 or $7,000. And these students don't have the money for that.
Yes.
And so there's one student who reached out. He owes $7,000. His parents can't afford that. And he works a 14-hour job, $14 an hour job.
Mm.
And so if you don't mind, I would love to share his GoFundMe.
No,
He,
please. What's his name?
okay.
Just shout him out and share
Yep.
his GoFundMe or whatever. If he's got Cash App, Zelle, Venmo.
Well, he has a GoFundMe, Anthony Moore.
Okay.
And I will share that link with you. And if you don't mind attaching that, that way people can, any amount will help this student because it's ridiculous what's happening to our students. Like he was told if he doesn't have $1,300, I think by the end of the week, then he won't be able to go to school. He can't attend.
I've been there,
Um,
literally.
so that's that one part. I wanted to shout that out because he needs us.
Yeah.
That's that community piece.
Yeah.
And then how people can support my campaign. If they go to write2026sc.com, they can sign up to volunteer. I do need volunteers. We're about to kick it up with phone banking and door knocking for the campaign. Also donations. I need donations. Any amount will help. We are trying to put 2 commercials out So, and that's about $10,000. So any amount that you can help us to reach that goal of $10,000 would be amazing. Also help me by spreading the word. Text my email or my campaign website to 3 people. And last but not least, I need people to get out and vote. We need to vote, like you said in the opening, on October 19th. We need to show up in droves. If you have a church van, we need to activate those vans. Your car, you can carpool, start picking people up. You vote early. That way, the rest of the time, you can, be a ride for other people to get them to the polls, because this is all hands on deck. You know how people say, like, your life depends on it?
It does.
Our lives truly depend on it. There are two, our nation is, our state, let's even keep it there. Our state can diverge in two ways. Okay. We can either go backwards, or we can move forward with a new South Carolina that's going to benefit all of us, or we can stay divided and
go backwards.
I can't even explain
the
horror
you
of
see,
if we stay down this path.
Because it's happening.
So,
It's unfolding in front of our eyes every day.
right.
So we need you to show. I need y'all to show up like
Yes.
you're going to show up to Columbia when you go see Usher and Chris Brown. That's where we
right.
need y'all to show up. Show up and stand in line and take your crew with you. Get your outfit, get your party buses. Ladies, y'all that have like a little, take a personal day, whatever, and make it like a little brunch. Go vote and have your little, mimosas or whatever, or glam parties, fellas. The cigar bars. Y'all need to show up like y'all going to see Usher and Chris Brown, because I guarantee you that show's gonna be sold out. So some of that money that you're gonna take for that Usher and Chris Brown, we need you to drop it off. So it's right, WRIGHT 4 FOR.
Oh no, right, 2026
Yes,
SC.
Yeah. Give it slow down. Give it to us again. So I want to make sure people
Yes,
get
sir. Right, WRIGHT 2026 SC.com.
Now, if anybody didn't believe or thought that I was just being kind or friendly because I admire this woman and the work she does, when I talked about her humanity and her compassion and empathy and sense of generosity, she had this platform, and when it was time for her to talk about people supporting her campaign, because campaigns need cash, and they need lots of cash, and they need lots of volunteers to do all the things, the door knocking, the phone banking, the knocking on doors, the canvassing, everything. But the cash is so crucial. But before she even gave her own website address where you could go and support her campaign with campaign cash, she shouted out a young man. She thought about that young man first, who's in a situation, and I know what that situation is like, because we got one of those emails about 20 years ago with our oldest daughter. So I know what that's like when you got to come up with tens, or in our case, it was probably about $11,000, $12,000, $13,000 in a week, or she won't be able to get in class. So I know what that's like. So for you to even think about in this moment, talking about your campaign, to think about this young man says everything. I don't say that act right there says everything and says everything about who you are as a person and as a human. So it's pretty clear who you are as a leader.
Thank you.
Because that depends. Who are you? Is one thing, anybody can have that title, but who are you as a person and as a human will determine who you are as a leader. Are you going to be there to serve others or serve yourself? So that said everything. It really did, Sylvia. So, but if you want to shout him out, and what I want to encourage you to do, so you can, I don't know if you've got the screen pulled up, there's a live chat room, and my mom is all up into my chat room as always, supporting me. You'll see Mary Dixon 334. So you can post that link in my chat room.
Okay.
And when the show's over, post the link in my comments, the comment section below. And then everybody, you'll see the link and definitely in the comments, if not in the chat room. And when you share the episode, make sure you put that in there too. You share it, however you share it, or tag everybody else. Put both. Make sure you've got the link to your campaign, and the link to is it
Anthony
Andre
Moore.
Brown? What is it again? His name starts with an A.
Anthony, yes,
Anthony.
sir.
Okay, Anthony.
Yes, sir.
And was it last name Brown?
Anthony Moore.
Okay.
Anthony Moore.
Or Anthony Moore. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Sylvia.
Thank
I
you.
always love talking to you. You'll be back.
Same.
You'll be back before October 19th, which is Election Day. And then once Election Day hits, I want to get you back. Do like a get out the vote before November 3rd. But we want to have this thing locked up way before when November 3rd comes, it'll be a wrap. But
yes.
some of y'all gonna show up on CP time. But so many of us like, we got this. So, because we know we got a few cousins that's going to be on CP time. It's going to show up on November 3rd. So we're going to make sure that we got this way in advance. So we showing up October 19th.
Right.
And then the folks is going to show up when they show up. Was like, we got love. We'll extend you grace, and we got love for you too. We need you to show up too.
Yes.
But the call is, like I said, Election Day is October 19th in South Carolina. It ends on November 3rd. Sylvia writes, the next South Carolina Superintendent of Education, may God continue to bless and have favor on you, your campaign, your family, and continue to use you as a vessel to be a blessing to all of South Carolina. Thank you so much, my sister.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Be blessed. She's got such a beautiful spirit. Y'all see, like I said, she was talking about her campaign, and like I said, campaigns need money, but she thought about this other young man, Anthony Moore. Thank you for letting me be a part of your life. As always, God bless each and every one of you, and especially you, God, most of all. Thank you for letting me do the Geno Jones Show live. Now, tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, man, I've been working on getting this incredible brother on the show. This man is amazing. He's going to be the next governor of the state of South Carolina, Dr. Jermaine Johnson, who is a member of the South Carolina legislative body up in Columbia, South Carolina. I got a chance to finally meet him in person Saturday night, and his incredible wife, Dr. Johnson, Dr. Evan Johnson, amazing. So, Brother Jermaine, I am so excited to see you tomorrow, to have you on the show live. So spread the word. If you haven't had a chance to listen to Dr. Jermaine Johnson, for him to tell you exactly his plans, what he plans to do for all of us in our families here in South Carolina, how he's got specific plans on how to make everybody's life better so everybody can come up. So I'm excited to have him on the show. All right, shout out to Allie Jones. She is the official wardrobe consultant and stylist for the Geno Jones Show. You can check her out on Instagram, lx.ncl_, lx.ncl_. Markel Bailey, the official barber and hairstylist for the Geno Jones Show. You can check him out on Instagram, on IG, Kel B Cutting Up, KELBECUTTINUP. I absolutely, positively, unconditionally love you and you and you, and love, real love, like Mary J says. It is an action word. It is not a noun. It is a verb. It's an action word. That means show somebody you love them. I love you. We'll see you live Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, with my guest, Dr. Jermaine Johnson, the next governor of the great state of South Carolina.
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.